Okay, I think we're live. Let me see here. If you guys can hear me, can you press one in the chat? Let me know if you guys can hear me or press one in the chat. Let me see. I'm trying to make sure that this is working. Oh, dude, come on. All right, I got confirmation. Okay. All right. Well, welcome back to the Black Brain Trust. This is Open Chat number 65. Um, Wait a minute. Why are there subtitles popping up down there? What is up with that? Hold on a second, you guys. This is the crap. So there's been just like a few things we've been kind of just dealing with this crap here because we're trying to do something a little different. So in the meantime, I'm using StreamYard because I couldn't get my Zoom shit to work. And all right, there we go. All right, I think we're okay. I think I'm okay in the back for right now. Yeah. So anyway, open chat number 65. Um, please hit the like button as you make your way in. You can also share the video. Hit the notification bell if you haven't already, and if you haven't subscribed. All right, so I see people kind of filtering in here, and let me go ahead and just acknowledge everyone that is here. Yo, Rich, salute, sir. So, Sir Abadayu, what's going on, brother? Peace. DJ B side 65, what's going on, man? Johnny Blaze, man, we ain't going nowhere. Miss Rainy Woman, how are you doing, my friend? How are you? DJ Moss, what's going on, man? Peace. Beat up Boogie, peace, brother. Thai City, what's going on, man? Keep it techie, what's going on? Yeah, no, we're back. You know, and you guys are gonna have to pardon me here. We've got some really bad fires going on in California, and the area where I'm in, I've basically been breathing in smoke for 3 weeks. So um, I've got some respiratory stuff going on. So just bear with me if you hear me sniffing and it sounds a little congested. It's just the air is just thick with smoke and it has doesn't seem to want to go anywhere. So that's what I got going on right now. Um, so I guess that kind of leads into what I wanted to talk about here. Um, First, this is just sort of to allay any sort of fears or anything that the brain trust is no more or nothing like that. Um, I'm pretty sure you guys are all aware this COVID thing happened, right? And so um, a lot of changes have happened in people's lives. Okay. And um, I think collectively we all just had things we needed to address, right? I took a new position for my job, schedule changed yet again. Daughter's now going to school from home, just started a week or two ago. So it's like life, right? Other people, same thing. Schedule changes, work changes, life changes. Um, just, you know, changes, right? Things going on that we all need to address. And that's where we can kind of say, okay, what are things that we can maybe put aside for a second, so that we can address these things, and this is one of those things where we've remained consistent for like 2+ years, right? And I would also even posit to say that, look, the majority of people haven't really gone through and come through the content, you know. So it's like this hiatus has been like uh, an opportune time for people to kind of get caught up, you know. Um, so that was another reason why we kind of took this time, because it was like, we're just piling it on, piling on, piling on, but has anybody really kind of followed? You know what I mean? Because what we found is that we have positions that get challenged, and these are new voices that come in, but they're arguing against a position that we've established that largely was vetted when we started this whole thing back on BGS's live stream some 3 4 years ago. So um so yeah, I mean, this was like kind of like the perfect time, the one to sort of like address just like personal shit that's going on. That's just at the end of the day, we have our personal lives we have to live. The other thing too was it was also a very opportune time to actually conduct a social experiment, right? So you figure, all right, well, if we are gonna have some downtime here for just a second, you know, while we're all kind of handling what we got to handle. One other thing I did want to mention too, some of us also lost loved ones, right? So I want to give a dear shout out and condolences to those. I'm not going to mention names, but things have happened, right? So as men, we need to kind of do what we need to do. And so, um, but that was also a good time to really just do reconnaissance and observation, just kind of analyze this space, quote unquote, as they say. Um, and the reason why we titled this here, "What If Manosphere 3.0 exists," was because you know, what if the brain trust just shut down? What if it didn't exist? Right? What would you have left? This is very interesting, you know, um, observation, that we were able to conduct here when we essentially shut down, and then we say, okay, so let's look at what the conversations are about. You know, uh, you know, uh, stocks took a dip last Friday. Yesterday was a holiday. Today hit down again. You know, this COVID shit doesn't seem to be going anywhere, and these U.S. China saber rattling doesn't seem to be going anywhere. But yet, tech seems to be scraping in all the money, and you know, when you shut down the platform that's largely centered around these things, what's left? Anyone care to take a guess? Like, you want to throw some of the terms that have been floating around this space, these spaces. Every time I say that, just know that I'm doing the air quote thing with my fingers. Um, because this is a 3.0 space, right? So it's kind of autonomous. Um, but what have you guys observed? What have you noticed? Just curious. I'll just kind of wait to see like some replies here. I may as well take the YouTube bag and move to Thailand. I got too much stuff going on in California, man. Yeah, I get the fires and all that, but man, there's too many racetracks out here. It's hard. It would be hard to convince me to leave. No, but what have you guys noticed? What the conversations have largely been about. I'm just curious. Now, I will say that there have been conversations that have taken place where um, I did give my 2 cents in, and then reference the brain trust, you know, for the listeners on those platforms who wanted to maybe find more information about what I'm referencing, then I would reference them back to the brain trust. But short of that, we shut down for a little while. So was what was the conversations about? What was the hot button topic? I think it was like high value man. That was one of them, right? All right. What's high value? High value man. You want to argue over high. These are high value topics. Okay. What's discussed here are high value topics, and there are men who discuss them here. Are there any other questions? Any other questions? Is this really worthy of a back and forth and a debate? You know, but I won't delve too deep into that because I just, I posed the question: what was been talked about since this is kind of went a little silent there, and so that was one of the items there. What else? Game. I think game was a big that was a big ticket item in terms of content topics, right? In these spaces. And what was the net? What was like the sum total of these conversations? Just curious. Anyone? I mean, anything. Did it go anywhere? This is what I'm saying. What if 3.0 didn't exist? I mean, let's pretend that like the brain trust. So what? Yet there are those who want to de- debate our platform, question the information, question the discussions. But if we go silent for a little bit, we say, oh, okay, well let me see what you're doing. Hmm. Okay. Women are the crux of your problem. Got it. Okay. So I don't know. I mean, from my observation, if 3.0 didn't exist and this is just from my observation of our little hiatus, right? The manosphere, this black manosphere, as you know it, goes absolutely nowhere. There is literally no new ideas. We zipped our lips and just observed. There is literally nothing new. Absolutely nothing new. Well, we've got this explosion of conservatives, right? Um, which is, I mean, cultural conservative, that's fine. But see, when you mix your cultural conservatism with political conservatism and economic conservatism, and then you come over to a place like this, or you engage with brothers like us, and you don't have the economic conservatism and the political conservatism part. You don't have that component, or those components, I should say. You only have the cultural part. You don't, you know, you only run it on one gear. And that one gear is the same gear that essentially 2.0 been running on since what its inception. You know, there's a very popular large 2.0 content creator. I won't mention his name, but he decided to mention us and say that we were responsible for all of the you know, the basically the bullshit that was going on, right? So, did you guys notice the bullshit stopped when we stopped? Did you guys notice that? Or did you guys notice that basically the bullshit continued? This little hiatus, this little break was good for us for a number of reasons. Okay, other reasons that I do want to touch into, and I'm going to drop the link here in just a few, um, have to do with just how we plan to grow this platform. Okay, some things I've been doing on my channel really have largely just been experimentations for additional content concepts. You know, so like I said, we kind of just use this time to really recalibrate, deal with things in our personal lives, and conduct a little observation. All right, so let me see what we've got in the chat here. Christian, what's going on, man? How you doing, bro? You ain't going nowhere. Richard, there hasn't been nothing. There hasn't been much to pay attention to. This is my whole point. I'm like, dude, if we just say stay silent, like what's talked about, and same thing. Fresh mouthpiece, crispy mouthpiece. So just a bunch of nonsense, you know. Oh, let me address one other thing that I observed too, and it's kind of like I guess you can say, well, it's not really even a rise of like female content creators or anything like that, but it's the popularity of them, which I don't think I have no personal issue on it either way, right? People go and they're going to listen to people that they find interesting. Okay. Um, However, it's been a very interesting schism, right? Because again, from our observation, outside of the very supportive Miss Reigning woman, who we appreciate all of her efforts in helping us getting to where we've gotten to, and maybe a smattering of other female contributors here and there. We haven't had many. We don't really have much female engagement. We really don't. So what we've found is that our platform largely has minimized conflict with regards to gender. And when we do have interaction with the other gender, when they care to come on and contribute and interact with us, typically it's very cordial and productive. So again, you take that away for just a little while, and what have we gotten? Arguments over submission, and what were some of the other? I kind of had a couple of notes here and there, but I don't know what the hell I did with them. But yeah, I mean, you take 3.0 away, and what do you have? Arguing, bickering, nothing solution oriented, you know, but entertaining nonetheless, I suppose, right? Worthy of monetary donations, and right. If 3.0 didn't exist, what actually changes? I will drop the link there. Now, mind you, I'm using StreamYard because I can't. This is part of the reason why I've been having issues doing. We were testing maybe like last week or the week before or something like that, and I don't know. I can't get my Zoom account to work with this crap. So I got StreamYard to work with it for right now, but we're gonna get Zoom sorted out, and then we're going to be doing the OBS thing here in a bit. Like I said, man, we're also taking this opportunity to sort of bump up the production value, if you will, right? Change, growth, all of that. So these are things that we discussed during the hiatus and started putting into motion. I won't talk about some of the other things just yet. I have mentioned it to some brothers in the back chat, but these are things that I would say that we've been asked about over the last 2 years. And I think what we've decided to do is, pursue it now, in a very strategic way. But, it'll be more that'll be talked about. Ah, my good brother, Renaissance Man. How you doing, sir?
What's up, Complex? What's up, Brain Trust?
Good, 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 man. Welcome.
Hey,
Well,
glad
as
to
you can
glad to
see,
be
man.
on.
So as you can see, we haven't gone anywhere.
Nah, like I said, hey, glad to saw happened to be on YouTube and saw the notification, so had to swing through.
Okay, awesome, man. Awesome. I was just really kind of contrasting, like, what's the conversations and what's gone on. And I guess you could say, and again, I'm using these terms in air quotes, this sector, right, of YouTube. Given that we had kind of shut down for a little while, you know, and so what I was looking at was just kind of contrasting, like, okay, so what sort of moved, right, since when we shut down, like what kind of how did the conversations that happened outside of the 3.0 realm move? And I'm like, it didn't. Like, it's sad to say, it didn't.
Just for clarification points, who do you consider 3.0? Like outside of the Brain Trust,
I would
are
say,
there any channels that
oh
fall
yeah,
into that?
yeah, well, absolutely. Like, so for example, Lionel. Like, if you're not following investing, on
Okay,
investing with Lionel and on crypto with Lionel, okay, like he's got two channels that were basically birthed out of this.
okay, someone like
Yeah,
Dollar Will.
Dollar Will has one. Um, Shoot, Ty City. I mean, he's been covering crypto and stuff like that over the last few weeks, politics, stuff like that.
Okay,
Um, it's the 3.0 tenets essentially. And I'll bring it up on a screen and share it so everybody can read it. But it's pretty much anyone who's producing content within that line. I would even say within the realm of like things like social commentary, right? So these open chats fall into that, okay? Because they're not like inward thons or any of that type of stuff, but the open chats are basically open dialogue about critical subject matter.
oh,
Um,
so okay, you don't necessarily have to say that. So they can get into like some social commentary because at a lot of the channels they do in some way. When you get into politics, usually women come up, and usually that's usually the conservatives bringing that into the fold. But you kind of consider that at least channels that have, like I said, open commentary, politics, cryptocurrency, things that at a higher frequency versus the love industry every day or something like that.
yeah. Here, let me do this here. Let me share this screen so people can get a view. And I don't know if they'll be able to see it. Hopefully they will. Let's see. I don't know if everyone can see that. It's probably really small. Let me see if I make the screen larger. Um, oh wait, that was you.
Yep,
Sorry.
I could see it. No, you're good.
No, wait. There we go.
Yep.
Okay. Right. Now I don't know if people can read it. I will read it though. Um, Manosphere 3.0 is a social media, socio political construct wholly created by the Black Brain Trust. The basis is built upon the tenets of technocratic thought and ideals, globalization, geo and domestic politics, technology, and you already know the venues of technology we always cover: blockchain, crypto, AI, automation, all that stuff. Economics, health. This is where Dr. Phoenix is a critical contributor. Okay, as well as relatable social commentary. So relatable social commentary would be things that relate to this fourth industrial paradigm, right? So now we're talking about cultural issues, right? Where we start covering the need for, black folks particularly, and going forward, we need to be STEM focused, right? If you're gonna have some fighting chance of that dreaded 2053 number when they essentially call it a wrap on black folks, then essentially you, you literally need a wholesale pivot towards STEM as a collective group of people. Okay, that's what this platform represents. So relatable subject matter would fall in line with that. Now, the official position of the Black Brain Trust and Manosphere 3.0 with regards to, let's just say, dating and mating is sapiosexualism. Okay, look, outside of this platform, that's not discussed. So it's a non-starter on pretty much any other platform because, in our view, the way forward is that, you know, in intelligent romantic relations, intelligence-based romantic relations, if that's what you so choose to do, because doing it based on intelligence is the only way that makes sense going forward. If you're not approaching it that way, then you're essentially, you got the arguments that happen all the time, and there's plenty of channels that are very popular. There's two ladies that host one, and you hear it all the time.
I was going to add too, with the whole 2053, that was pre-COVID. Who knows what that number is going to be post-COVID?
Well, that's the reason why Dr. Phoenix was like, shit, 2030, and I think he was saying that pre-COVID, right? So now that we're post-COVID, yeah, because see, it's only 2020 now. We're talking 10 years, right? So we've looked at how much sweeping changes we've had just in 2020 alone, right?
And you still haven't seen the shoe really drop with as far as evictions.
We haven't seen the shoe drop on a whole bunch of shit. We got an election coming up, right? The evictions, the stimulus package, and the two parties wrangling back and forth, right? Playing political volleyball because they know there's an election coming up. So no one's trying to cooperate to make anything favorable for the people, right? They're going to tell you that no, it's the other person making it this bad for you, and they're going to keep doing this shit all the way up until the goddamn election. But that's not important, right? That's not important. I'll just go ahead and let me just finish this here. Intellectualism, critical thought, problem solving, application, and business modeling are the mechanisms through which concepts are transmitted. Mature intelligent dialogue is the order of the day, along with a little highbrow humor. That's 3.0. Like, that's pretty much it in a nutshell. If somebody's creating content and then they're kind of like in this line right here, then yeah, you could consider it 3.0. Anything less is not it. Simply put. And this channel is the standard for that. So you can't debate it. And that's all you've really just been having, in my view, since we kind of just went silent for a little bit here, just silly debates that go nowhere.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. You've had like you said, 90% gender war, and then you've had some social commentary from some channels, but nothing. I would definitely say, at least excluding some of the channels you mentioned, nothing to the depth when you start talking about technology. Really, that's been the major gap that I've seen. No one's really been drilling into technology or geopolitics like that.
Yeah.
Like I said, it'll be some light social commentary and some politics, but the politics will be very shallow.
Exactly. But to let others tell it, this Manosphere 3.0 thing was Stream Team. To let them tell it, right?
Yeah, I've never even gotten that whole point because when
there
you
was no point. There was no point.
because I was gonna say Stream Team literally started with 2.0. I mean
Exactly. That's what I'm
that
saying.
was
But I'm yeah. It's more of an observation on. It's more of a like I said, man. This was more of a social observation. You know, like if you're if people are to come to say like a group that they would look at as the brain trust as something like a think tank or something like that, right? And let's just say they come to me and they would, or they come to you, they come to Mike, they come to Nagon, they come to Antigrav, they come to, just damn, you already know who's all here. They come to Lionel, they come whoever. So and they say, look, you guys should do this, 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 and this. Now, if we have the intelligence, right, to convey the information and synthesize it in such a way where we're making it a matter of urgency, right, and we're laying it out in such a way where we're saying, look, not only saying that these sectors are important, but god damn it, we're gonna break down the fucking certifications that you need to get into this stuff. Okay, we've taken the time to do this. Okay, we've taken the time out to do this. So when you then turn around and then just kind of make it trivial, then I have to say, okay, well, look, how much of my personal time and empathy do I give to people who could take or leave what it is that I'm already willingly doing? How much more do I give of myself to someone who could take it or leave it? Does this make any sense?
no, no, you're right. Like I said on the conversation we had on the phone, the other thing that was missing too is actual like job promotion. The whole Saturday tech talk, where you literally have what 2 hours dedicated to how you break into tech,
Every
um,
Saturday.
as well as you know, hey, if you have the certifications, we have recruiters that you can talk to and look at getting placed in a role, or just
Where,
career
where,
coaching.
where were the tech talks and the certification talks and the career coaching and the where was that happening when we went silent?
Yeah, nowhere. The only way you could really look is someone was talking about like um, someone like Erica Williams, Glendon Cameron, those channels, which
Right.
their audience kind of you could argue stretches outside of just Black
It, and, it,
YouTube,
and
Black
it does.
Manosphere.
And it does. And that's part of what our aim is here going forward. Because you have to stretch out. We have to stretch out. This is a lot of this hiatus is really kind of giving us time to really sort of just again observe and analyze. To observe and analyze.
Keep It Techie says I was doing it.
What's that?
Keep It Techie in the chat says I was doing it.
He was doing what?
Assuming he's referring to
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah. Oh, okay. As far as the content, yeah,
yep.
yeah. Okay. I mean, it's few and far, you know, but as we already know, what gets the views, the likes, the everything, right? So it's just like when we ask the question, it's literally that's probably like what on one hand, we said Lionel, we said Ty City, you got Keep It Techie, Erica Williams, um, what's his name?
Glendon Cameron.
Glendon Cameron. That's five.
Yep.
That's five. Um, Maybe you can include me if you add my Sapio chats and my sim racing stuff because it's kind of tech related. That's what, six? Who else?
Yeah, it is definitely in the minority. Like it's like you
I
said,
know, and I
count
mean,
on your hands.
yeah. Anyone else, like, feel free to like throw some names in there because I want to feel as though there was more than six. I really want to feel like there were. Yeah, I want to feel like there were more than six. Right? I really do because again, if I say that, well, we shut down, and then you have those remaining, and then the remaining conversation is what essentially is what we've also seen too, is like the numbers speak for themselves. You get time to like observe things, right? You get, you observe it over the span of some time, you get a feel and a sense, right? And the numbers speak for themselves too. This is why I said it's crucial at this point for us to expand. We have to.
I think you got someone in the back.
Let's see here. Oh,
What's going on, fellas?
the broke genius. What's going on?
Yeah, I did a tech talk today. I've been in technology for about 14 years.
Okay, that's what's up.
Yeah, so I mean, it's a minority of black guys in technology. Period. I mean, black women in technology. I mean, like are unicorns.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's a lot of people that I think that are intimidated by getting into tech or anything computer related.
Well,
Um,
let's not center it just to that, right? Because we also want to talk about the politics, the economics, the everything, right? Right? Because I think that's another thing that is kind of like a misunderstanding of this platform, is that it's a tech platform. No, we're technocratic,
right, right,
right? We're technocratic. A lot of us happen to work in tech,
right,
right? But this isn't a tech channel. That's not what this is, right? So I'm not even just relegating it, to tech. Now, if that's the content that you make, then obviously it fits. But
no, that's not. I'm more like this man here. Like,
mhm.
if I had to change my name, matter of fact, like one of my monikers, like that I use on Discuss, is Renaissance King, because that's pretty much what I am. I'm a Renaissance man.
Mm.
So I'm in the cars, I'm in the tech, I'm in the finance,
Right,
wealth, real estate,
there
um,
you go.
you know, pussy dick conversation. Um, I mean, all over the place. Chess, I like chess. Play a lot of chess. Also athletic, so I play basketball. Um,
But
Wrestled in
what
high
what's
school.
I was gonna
Um,
ask, what was your background in tech? You said you had been in tech for 14 years.
Play a little football in the Navy. I'm in desktop support primarily, but I've been all over the place. I've been in networking, field engineer, break fix, hardware support, hands off break fix, hands on break fix, you name it. I literally did a lot. So I do Tech Tuesdays. So
Hmm.
today was my first day doing it. So I'm just trying to spin off just different things on my channel. I'm just trying to get a regular format. So
That's
I
what's
did
up.
a live stream today. It was just basically I call it IT 101. So I just broke down the basics of IT. I mean, I literally gave people, like, if someone is like a new person or in college or something like that, or doing internships, if they watch that live on my channel, they literally have saved themselves like years of struggling.
Hmm.
Because when I started, I thought break fix was everything. Little do I know, hands off, you make more money actually hands off, like, project management, software development, software engineering,
Hmm.
network engineering, stuff like that, web development. I was like so into building computers and stuff like that. I went the mechanic route. I call it the computer mechanics. So
Yeah.
I went that route, and I was, least paid and whatnot and stuff like that. But not, I mean, I know a lot, but because, like, I met project managers, I met software developers that didn't even know how to replace a hard drive.
Mm.
Um, so I got that foundation, but a lot of the guys that work in the more management or software side, they would make 3-4 times what a computer technician would make.
Right. Yeah, I mean, and it's that's why we really try to give the nuts and bolts on both sides of the equation here, because going forward, everything is going to be tech centric, no matter what the industry you're in. And if you're in an industry that's tech centric, guess what? You're going to be dealing with hardware and software.
Yeah,
Okay, right? So nothing changes. Nothing changes.
yeah,
The only thing that is changing is the paradigm that we're moving into,
yeah,
right? From an industrial standpoint, right?
right.
So that's where we're really just kind of analyzing the nature of the conversations and the discussions that are being had, because it's like, wow, are we really just not cognizant and aware of what's going on around us? Like we were just talking about um okay, there you go, I just dropped the link.
Yeah, but
We were just talking about what's going on with the elections, and
mm.
politics, and this whole eviction ban, and you know what I mean. There's all these other
You
things
talk
that,
complex. You talking to
yeah.
me like I'm just somebody that just hopped on, man. I
No, I'm
know it's
not
been a
talking. No,
minute. I
no, I'm
know
not.
it's been
No,
a
I'm not
minute,
talking
but
to you like. No, I'm not talking to you
yeah,
like that. I'm just kind of like
yeah.
contextualizing what what um what this conversation's about,
Oh
basically,
yeah, yeah,
right? Because again, like when we shut down, what I noticed was is that there was no stimulus package conversations, right? There
mm,
was no PPP loan conversations. There were
mm.
no, there was none of this going on. So I'm like, well,
Yeah.
damn.
That's why I flipped. I like, I mean, I'm like, man, it went basically 98% pussy dick conversation.
It literally went back to like, well, are you high value man enough for me to? I was like, what the hell?
Well, you know what, man? Okay, I saw the title and I was like, I was thinking to myself, I was like, man, I mean, basically, I call it Professor Xavier. So, Professor Xavier, aka Kevin Samuels, he's literally the Manosphere 3.0. Like he's the ringleader, right?
No, 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 no,
So,
no. Wait, hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on. First of all, let's walk that back. First of all, man, like the three man, I just read the tenets, man. Manosphere 3.0, that's a brain trust construct, right?
mm,
Kevin Samuels is his own. That's
yeah,
see, I really kind of didn't want even his name to be brought up, because the thing is this: at the end of the day, I don't have a problem with what he does. I really don't. Okay, it's really just as a macro observation. Okay, more people will engage in conversations arguing about what a high value man is, right? And cannot recognize readily when there are men having conversations about high value topics, which would make them what? High value men, right? If we're able to provide mentoring and coaching in tech, break down the certifications, show you how the IoT shit works and all that type of stuff, based on the fact that we actually do it in real life, what does that make us by virtue? See, at a certain level, that it's kind of like a worthless discussion depending on the venue that you're in. This is why I say over there and what Kevin's doing, I don't have a problem with it, because the conversation is different over there. So you can have that. You can talk about that kind of stuff, right? However, what I already know is that these conversations are inherently high value. There is no debate about that.
oh yeah. I mean, whenever you dealing with, like I mentioned, I mean, those particular positions, project management, you know, um, software development, network engineering.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't, as far as just, as far as compensation is concerned, you can't help be but high value in those particular positions in the seniorities perspective.
Right.
I mean, I was just saying, as far as, where the conversation has pretty much been, as far as that high value thing. I mean, he's not, Kevin is not Freddy or nothing like that. I mean, he ain't gonna just pop
Hmm.
up and just start clawing you. I mean,
No.
he just one dude. I mean, to be honest with you, they've been talking about high value. Like I literally pulled out the vaults of YouTube. It's a guy by the name of Lawrence Otis Graham. He was talking about high value back in the early 2000s. And actually, not to discredit Kevin, but Lawrence Otis Graham, he makes Kevin look like a welfare case
Well,
because
well,
he's in the 0.01%. I mean, he's a multimillionaire.
well, and
Okay.
that's the thing, right? That's kind of where I kind of don't want to go there because that's not a conversation that we have here, right?
Mm.
Like I said, I've already firmly.
Well, I mean, I'm not. I mean, I like I say, I don't discredit anybody. I'm not talking about like as far as I'm not cadding on anybody. It's just I just wanted, the whole topic of high value. People have been talking about it for probably long before all of us was born. I mean,
Well, that's
this
always
is nothing new.
no, it's not nothing new, but we're talking about with regards to, again, air quotes, this space, right? So
Mm.
that if like I said, man, if we all of a sudden just go silent.
But are you saying that Kevin is not part of the Manosphere or
No, I'm not
oh,
saying any. I'm
oh.
not saying anything about Kevin at all. That's
Mm.
why I don't want his name brought up because I'm not saying anything about him
Mm.
personally. It's not about him. It's not about his platform. It's not
But when
about.
you talk about high value is so synonymous with him because
Well,
people, let's face it, like people really wasn't even mentioning that moniker. They
yeah,
weren't
but
they
that's
wasn't
my.
saying
But
that.
but
So it's
that's
like
that's my whole
literally
point.
that's that like high value. When you say high value, like you literally you might as well say Kevin Samuels.
No,
So
that's
if you want to
actually
say like like as far as I look at it, I look at it as um intelligent rich guys or intelligent wealthy guys.
okay.
You
Well,
could say that and it's even more higher than high value.
well, here's the thing, right? I don't, and this is the reason why I don't want to delve off into this because
Yeah.
I personally don't do social memes. Okay, so all the terms that you just gave me, dude, like I don't know because that's other people's thoughts and ideas of what those things mean to them. Okay, so
Well, it's a touchy subject. It's a touchy subject, but the point, the rabbit hole to the root is that as far as like black people, this is the Black Brain Trust. We are 3%. We are $3,000 average as far as household wealth. Behind like by almost half from our parents, which in the 80s we were like $6,000 to $5,000 dollars in worth as far as on average. We're now below that currently at 3,000. So wealth is, if, as far as my opinion, that's why I call myself, people like, why you call yourself the broke genius, because it is actually a very I think it's one of the most important topics or problems in the black community is lack of wealth or wealth inequality. So in
Mhm.
my opinion,
So let me ask
forget
you a
even high
question. So
value.
I have a question for you. So do
Yeah.
you think do you think that the best pathway to find an answer to or a solution to that issue that you just mentioned is to either one, debate the nature of what a high value man is, or two, have discussions about economics?
More or less economics
Okay.
because
All right.
but here's the thing though. What Kevin I think is doing, or anybody's talking about money or wealth or
Okay,
whatever.
dude, here's
There,
the thing. Can we, like I said, man,
yeah, okay,
this isn't
okay,
about Kevin, and it's really
all
not
right.
about high value man as a social meme.
If
I
if
really
that
want to, I want to bring it back to more of a, of a macro observation, and it doesn't have to do with him.
black wealth is the is
Well,
the is
no,
the is the biggest problem that I see, or black lack of wealth is the biggest problem that I focus on
mm,
the constant. That's my biggest pariah. That's my dragon, that my personal dragon that I'm slaying myself, as well
mm.
as what I think that a lot of people should focus on, because statistically we're at the bottom as far as wealth in this country.
Well,
And
we
it's
know.
no reason, for us to be at the bottom. It's excuses and also traps and roadblocks, but I mean it's a lot of things when you break it down. Why are we in this position? And a lot of it is that
Don't you think?
we can't even talk to each other without all of these fences and walls. You
Well,
know,
now, well, I would say this, right? You know, I'm not saying that anything that you're saying is incorrect or wrong. However, like, we all know that there's something wrong,
oh yeah,
right?
you
And
could
we know that.
drive around
Well, it's not
neighborhoods
even.
and
You don't even have
yeah,
to drive around because it's been generationally ingrained, right? That's the reason why I'm a bit even beyond talking about like trying to dissect like all of the goddamn problem. Like, well, it's only been generational for I don't know how many generations. I mean, you guys haven't you don't yet you haven't seen it all by now, right? So at a certain point, the conversation has to progress forward. It has to at a certain point, right? There has to be an agenda established, and then you have to say, okay, look, this looks like this is going to be the pathway to go forward because it addresses every single issue that up until this point, all of your conversations, all your hours of your live streams and your panels and your summits and your expos and all your goddamn caucuses and all your throw the black in front of all of those has netted you what? What has it netted black folks up until this point right now, today? Okay, when we're already slated to be written off, according to Dr. Phoenix's estimates, 2030. According to official government estimates, 2053. According to COVID, probably somewhere in the middle. Okay, with all of that, what high value man submission? That's why I was like, dude, honestly, I brought those up as a social observation. Has zero to do with Mr. Samuel, so just leave him out of it. Okay, has nothing to do with that, and has everything to do with what our actual fucking plight is. That's what this has to do with. And when I say that, when we decided to shut down for a few weeks, I looked and observed, and I saw what was important to everyone.
well, all of that other stuff or whatever it was pretty much popping. I mean, I didn't know why you guys were shut down or whatever, but I mean, that stuff sells. Sex sells. As the old moniker. So
But that's the
I
thing.
ain't
We
gonna
know
knock
this.
the hustle. I'm not
We
gonna
no
knock
no
the
no no
hustle.
we no 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 we know this.
But
That's the thing. That's the
yeah,
thing, bro. Like, come on, we know all of this.
yeah,
We're smart. We're intelligent people here, right?
yeah.
We know this. We know this. And I'm saying that, well, look, in a post COVID environment with a shaky financial market and unstable housing situation and all that. In lieu of all of that, you're telling me that right there. Got it. Got
Yeah.
it. Yeah,
Well, I
got
mean,
it.
it's all of what you just said, like last like sentences you just said on my channel. I talked about it. So August I gave my current projections. So what you seeing now is like, they're kind of talking about it, but not as much. But they're slowly, progressively mentioning it. So now these waves of evictions are coming, okay, or already in progress as we speak. People are getting ready to move out right now. People got boxes getting ready to move out and trying to figure out what the next step is going to be, because the evictions are pretty much popping off. So that's one thing. And then once you got evictions, of course, the cousin of eviction is foreclosure. you know so
Yeah, and then the uncle of foreclosure is real estate bubble.
right.
Okay,
And then the
and
grandfather is
well,
the recession.
Well, no,
Depression.
no, no. We're in the middle
Depression
of
is the great grandfather.
well, no.
Probably. So.
Right now we're just hitting a double dip. Okay, when you hit a double dip, and I don't know if Dollar Will's here or people who are a little more knowledgeable when it comes to like the nature of the double dip, but that's your telltale signs of a depression right there. Okay, and double dip happened I think today, right? Because we had the dip on Friday,
It's a triple dip.
or okay, or it's a triple dip, whatever,
Yeah.
whichever one it is, because you had one on Friday. Yesterday was a bank holiday, and then you had it again today.
Right.
And I don't want to look at my shit.
Yeah.
Well, I sold off a bunch of shit after the first one. So then this other one happened. I'm just like, you know what? Fuck it. If it goes up, it goes up. I don't know.
Yeah.
Hey, what's
Right.
going on, Jay? How you doing, man?
Oh, yo, I'm on.
Yeah, you on, bro. What's going on with you?
Hey,
Welcome.
what's going on, man? I'm just listening in, you know. So, yeah, nice to be
Okay.
here.
Yeah, man. Did you have any sort of comments or thoughts on, the
I mean,
subject
I had
matter?
a comment
I
on
don't know
like
how long you
the.
were listening.
Oh, sorry.
No, I said I don't know how long you were listening in.
Oh, yeah, just like 10, 15 minutes.
Okay.
So basically, my thing is like, so did you just make this Manosphere 3.0 concept like in the last couple like months, or like how long has it been around?
It was basically, I don't know, like a year and a half ago.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, I
Because
mean,
like,
we had the brain trust, and then, I mean, all the only thing it was that it a name we came up with. Basically, Mike came up with a name for what we were doing.
right,
Okay, and then I defined it, and then that's what it was. But it started. We were doing it when we started this, so technically speaking, 3.0 started over 2 years ago. We
oh,
just
okay,
didn't. I didn't define it. We didn't define it till like a year and a half ago.
right, okay,
All right, but that's what it is, and that's what like this platform maintains, and then you have others who essentially maintain platforms that really just kind of run in alignment with those tenets. So that
right,
by virtue would make them 3.0 compliant, if you will, right? But that's really what it is. I mean, the tenets are set in stone. It's there. It's not really even up for question or debate. You know.
right. So I guess the statement on your channel bio.
Yeah, I'm the about section of the Brain Trust YouTube channel. Yep.
Right, right. Because I've actually just recently found your channel, so I've been like going through a couple of your streams and everything, just soaking up all the knowledge. So
Oh, okay. That's what's up, man.
yeah, absolutely. So
Yeah,
basically,
it's a lot of
I
videos
got
there.
huh?
It's a lot of videos there.
Yeah, definitely. But basically, I just got started with this whole, I guess, like investing thing on crypto. Like I
Hmm.
never used to invest before I got into crypto, so like that was like my introduction to it. So now I'm like looking into like the actual legacy markets with like ETFs, mutual funds, that type of thing.
Hmm.
And when I go and I look on YouTube, I don't really see a whole lot of like financial stuff. I mean, I see like MGTOW Money or
Yeah.
SBI hybrid stuff like that. But like MGTOW Money hasn't been really in the game like for a minute. He only posts like a couple posts now and then. And like the Manosphere at large is I pretty much see it's like a big ass war zone. Like this guy's beefing with this guy and this dude like just bullshit drama. So I'm trying to get my money, so I'm not really with
Yeah.
that. So
I'm gonna post because the another brother that you really should be following, and he's one of the dudes who founded this is Lionel. I mean, let me pull up his channels here. Give me a second.
absolutely.
With Lionel, I think that's this one.
But I actually had a question for like all the guys on the panel, if whenever you're ready.
Yeah, go ahead. I'm just pulling these channels up so I can post them.
Right, right. So, with you talking about like how Black Americans are going to be pretty much left behind by like 2050 or 2030, I'm just trying to. I've asked this question before in another panel, but
Hmm.
I'm gonna like ask this to you. Like, do you think that it's pretty much just a lost cause in America for like the majority of Black people? Just like when automation comes, like even now, they're not really. I mean, they're turning up. like partying and all that kind of stuff, and they're not really like as a collective, I guess, waking up, for lack of a better term. So I mean, what are your thoughts on that? I guess.
I mean, what we've, again, man, this whole sort of fourth industrial position that we have really addresses all aspects, right? That's why we said relatable subject matter, because we're also talking about like lifestyle. We're talking about, the way forward in terms of how we may want to like, live as people. I mean, that's where the health piece comes in. We may, because we're talking about maybe looking at being having a vegan based diet and all these types of things to increase our health outcomes and all these types of things. Like we cover literally every aspect of living, but we're looking at it from a fourth industrial paradigm standpoint. So what does that look like in the future? Okay. So that's why I said, even with things like dating and mating and relationships and stuff, look,
Right.
it's either sapiosexualism or, you know what, go do whatever the fuck else. Right. Well, if you're to ask me what type of dating and mating and strategies are gonna work, and this is going to both genders. Because like I said, this platform is above the binary, the binary juxtaposition of the genders and agendas and all that type of shit. Look, a technocratic agenda is genderless in the sense of it is a cultural mandate. Again, if what we are looking to be here is a group of people who have mastered technology, what would that automatically imply? That would automatically imply that smart women should be the ones having children because they'll produce smart kids,
Mhm.
right? Simple cultural imperatives. Very simple. However, they do take wholesale adjustment because we do have to accept the type of paradigm we are quickly evolving into, right?
Right. Right.
So the things that are being talked about now in terms of like, a return to traditional relationships and all that type of stuff.
I mean,
Look,
well, that's a pipe dream. I mean,
well, I was gonna
honestly.
say, look, anyone with half a brain, all you have to do is listen to one conversation when you hear like chicks on one side and dudes on the other side arguing, right? And
Mhm.
what you'll quickly come to realize here is that what men are asking women to do is to relinquish social gains, like things like employment and all the things that they have access to now.
Mhm.
Okay. And I've always said, like, you know what, look, you'll be you'll make $1 million quicker than you'll get a chick you'll get women to like wholesale like reverse course on that. Okay.
I mean, but that's kind of the point, though. Like, the point is, like, you have to be a person worth submitting to, you know,
Well,
if
well,
you want
that
to go down that route.
well that here's the whole thing about that, right? That's not a conversation. I- I'll just give you my own personal anecdote on that. For me, that's not a conversation that's up for debate that I'm going to have with people,
Right. Right.
right? Because I my that would that's going to involve like my personal life, and that's who I personally decide to incorporate. So it doesn't become, it's not an outward thing. That's an inward thing. That's like for me personally, right? But that should be how, well, in my view, all men should be operating. Like by default. So it's not even a conversation to be had. It's just a default setting.
Right. And I
Okay.
think the issue comes in when, like, guys have the, who don't meet that standard are trying to force a standard on women that they themselves aren't living up to. If that makes sense.
Well, I
So,
mean, like here's the thing, man. You have to have your own standards that you live by. You know what I mean? As soon as you're living by other people's standards, trying to make other people happy, that means you're not living for yourself.
right.
And if you're not living for yourself, then that means that you're always trying to meet the expectations of others. And that's where I say, like, look, those conversations are fruitless because one group has one set of expectations, the other side has their set of expectations, and guess what? Neither one are going to be met. That is just the reality of this postmodern industrial environment that we find ourselves in.
Right, and even like in this environment, it's like quickly going to change in like the next 5 to 10 years anyway. So
Right.
we're going to be
So
like
so
dealing
why
with a
why
completely
so
new.
what this is why do you think I'm saying sapiosexualism is the only way that makes sense going forward? Okay.
Well, I mean, I'll ask you a question on that. Like, what? I mean, that's pretty much like being attracted to someone's intelligence, right? I
Yeah,
guess.
essentially. Yeah.
Okay.
Right. Dealing with somebody because it's the smart thing to do.
Well, I was going to quickly add complex. You can argue that's already going on in the sense of when you look at marriage patterns, even right now, you see marriage. People don't marry outside of their socioeconomic group, so there's already that going on in the greater society. You could argue Black society is sort of still struggling with that. With when you look at the attainment rates of college and higher education with Black women versus Black men, and then you get into the whole earnings debate, which you do have some Black women who are out earning Black men, and then vice versa. You do have some Black women who are educated, but someone who's blue collar may earn more than them. But as a general trend in society, and I'm assuming that's where we're going to go, and that's sort of where the literature and sort of the movements have been going, is that people are going to be dating and mating within their socioeconomic statuses, especially when you look at the fact that people are getting married later. That was one of the things they talk about in this general discussion is, back in the 50s or 60s or whatever, people would get married to their high school sweetheart or, and if they did go to college, get married right after. And now it's people go to college, grad school or, go in the military, do whatever, get established and then get married. So just a matter of proximity, you're going to more than likely marry someone you're around. So it's already shifted to that, to the dominant society.
Well, yeah, and what I would even say, I would even take it a step further and say that much like how when you look, you kind of follow the progression of how marriage has occurred and how it's happened, right? When you kind of follow it throughout, sort of charted up until this point. Now, it started early and got pushed off later. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, marriage as you know it, in my view anyway, it's pretty much on its way out. It's in I guess you can say like Apple lexicon, right? Like a device that is not new but not obsolete is vintage. Okay, so the concept of marriage is like vintage right now, and it's about to become obsolete. That's
I mean,
what.
I would argue. I mean, I would argue like marriage is already obsolete. I mean, even with relationships that were, I guess, formed before this whole like sexual revolution, they're still ending up in divorce. They're still ending up with the same result that everybody else is getting.
Well,
So in
we
like,
already. Well, look, we're at a point now. This is what I mean. Look, we're at a point now where the evidence and everything that we're saying is in the fact that you're now being conditioned to be averse to other humans, vis-a-vis social distancing. Okay, so there's a subconscious social engineering taking place right now to actually now make you averse to other humans. Okay, all this will do is just basically create a phobia in a lot of people where they won't want to. They're gonna have like it's gonna be a psychological. I see it happening right now.
Yes, I think you're right.
Yeah.
People are gonna have a long standing phobia to possibly getting COVID-19 or instead of people are thinking about COVID-19 more than like herpes, HIV, and other like STDs. It's like I don't want to go out with you because you might have COVID. You know.
Yeah, no, that's what I mean. It's an inherent human. We're being engineered to fear humans or
I mean,
having
even
aversion.
with that, I mean,
Yeah.
oh, sorry, didn't mean to cut you
No, I
off.
was just saying like just we're being engineered to have like an aversion to other humans,
I mean,
right?
even before COVID, like a lot of that, like social media was already on that track to pretty much like separate people, and more so like seeing people as like a come up, like, oh, I can get something from him because he looks like he has money or status or whatever, you know. So
Well, no, it's always been the case. I mean, materialism isn't anything new to the West,
That's
right?
not new.
Yeah, it's nothing new to the West. And if anything, only thing that social media does is it makes transmitting ideas and concepts about it much more easy. That's so.
And
That's
another
all it.
thing, it's like,
That's all it
oh,
does.
sorry.
No, that's all it does.
And like another thing, like for the average guy, it pretty much prices him out of the market with regards to women because like women now have access, like even an average chick or like a above average chick has access to like NFL players, just throw up some nice pictures and she can get a
Yeah,
DM
but
or
do you realize that as a dude, you have access to apps that can make you millions of dollars?
Right.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I mean,
That's what.
But then again, you have to do
Now
dude,
you
it's
see why I don't focus on
dude, like
that.
this,
Like,
but this is
yeah.
what I mean. This is what I'm talking about.
Mhm.
That is exactly it. It's like just as readily as you can tell me that, I could tell you the thing that actually puts you diametrically opposed to what you just told me,
Right.
depending on how you leverage technology. This is the paradigm we're in now, where this is the great equalizer. All of this shit is even COVID, even that, because look, everybody's been basically put in the house,
Right.
stay home, right? So now everybody has to basically just do shit from the house for the most part, outside of go out and buy groceries and do the random, the normal things. But look, it's not as if you know there was some live stream, maybe I was on like a week ago. I can't remember whose it was. It might have been Game Changers, I'm not sure. But I had, like, there was one of those game dudes, right? And I was like, dude, like, you know what, go spit some game with a mask on right now. And can you do it on camera for me, please?
Oh,
Like,
like one of those PUA guys.
Yeah.
yeah, I was like, for all this shit, like here's what I need. Like, given the current environment, what I'm going to need you to do is I need you with your mask on, because it would just be very creepy if you didn't have a mask on, right? So
Right.
put a mask on, go out here and flip your camera phone on, and show me all the shit you're talking about. Because see, I'm under the impression, and I don't know about you guys, right? But I know where I live, everybody's all walking around with a fucking mask on, right? People have gloves on, they're wiping shit with sanitizer. They're sanitizing every goddamn thing. You
Yeah.
go to the grocery store.
California is #1. You in Cali, right?
Yeah, I'm saying I don't know what everybody else is looking at, but I know what I'm looking at when I go to the store. And I know I look at, when I'm looking at some fruit, I might have touched something. I'm like, oh no, that tomato's not ripe enough, right? And then the next person that comes behind me is like, well, he just touched that and he doesn't have any gloves on, so I'm not going to touch that.
I mean, in
Like,
Georgia, like where I'm at, it's pretty much like 50-50. Like you have some people like that, but on the other hand, you have some people who like don't really give a fuck. So
right, but this is what I mean. Like, this is the new social environment we're in now, where you're just gonna have a lot of, like, just a lot of paranoid people, man.
Yeah.
Psychologically, I'm not really sure what we would call it, but given all of this, I have a hard time believing that you know we're just out here spitting game.
I was also going to add to the marriage discussion as well. Someone pointed out in the chat below that people, it's still very much popular amongst the higher educated, going back to what we were talking about with technocratic, that people who are, marriage, from what it looks like, at least in America, it looks like it's going to become more of a status symbol, in that people who are better off, well-to-do, are going to get married.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, the
People
thing
who
is,
aren't
even
are going
all
to
these,
be going that route of kind of like what Complex was alluding to with the dating coaches as well too. And like you said, you do have that same tool that people are using to get in contact with athletes and all that. You have that same tool to leverage to better your life, and if you do that, you won't have a problem really as far as mating goes. Even though the dating coaches would have you think different.
right,
Yeah.
right. And the thing with
Yeah.
marriage, like with the high status guys, like I don't know if the marriage rates are gonna go down for them at least because I mean a lot of these chicks, that's pretty much their like retirement plan. Marry a rich guy, stay with him for like maybe 10, 15 years, and then get him for child support, alimony, all that kind of stuff. So I don't really know how that's gonna affect marriage for like a high status guy, but at least for the average guy, like I don't really
Well,
see him getting
Well,
This
married.
is what I yeah.
well,
Go ahead.
higher. I
well,
was kind of going back to what I was saying. Like higher status people are getting married and they're not getting divorced.
that's the
And when
whole
you
thing.
start looking also at like well-to-do men, that's a rarity. People talk like well-to-do men are just falling from the sky, and they're not. Especially when you look at graduation rates and the fact that more women are going to college than men. If anything, that strategy is going to backfire because you're going to have a bunch of women who you could kind of argue what you're seeing in the black community, where you have a bunch of, I guess BGS refers to them as high octane women who don't have a mate that's on their level comparable, and they have to date down. So if anything, that strategy will backfire long term.
And
Yeah,
a
some of
question
them
for
won't
the
date down.
What
just
is
a
that?
question on the rating system. Is that based solely on money, or is that like money and like your physicality?
No, it's.
Um,
I mean, it's based on it's based on a mix of things. Physicality, one, social status, two. But what I'm saying is that this COVID shit has been the equalizer. You can largely throw a lot of that shit out the window. That's where
Oh
I'm
yeah, I
at.
mean,
Like
I'm not
that's
complaining. I'm
well, no, I mean, I'm just saying that's why it's largely kind of pointless to even have conversations that are based on those kind of concepts because we're quickly seeing that shit's changing. Shit's changing.
well,
right. I'm just saying like
what I see,
guys. Go ahead, sorry.
what I see is that Renaissance is right. I think that marriage is headed toward being a more upper middle class
Exactly.
type system. And then also I kind of I'm observing that the case for poly is on the rise.
Well, I'll tell you like this. Poly is of no interest to me because I simply just don't have time to be dealing with a bunch of like different personalities and shit. So
Yeah, it's just what I observed.
we could
Yeah.
table that poly stuff can you can talk that on another
So
No,
when you
platform.
I
say
mean,
that, are you
this is
saying
just what
like
I
a
observe. It's not what I
Yeah,
mean, I ain't
yeah.
talking
I
about.
guess
It's just what I observe.
I suppose, yeah.
are you saying like they're gonna have multiple like an open relationship type thing, or what
So,
exactly?
I mean, basically, what I see as far as I base this off social media, a lot of people that have coupled already, and the girlfriend or the wife is already on board with another woman. So yeah,
Oh,
that I see more of that now, and then I also see single women that are on board with joining the couple. You know,
Well,
um,
I think people here's the thing, right? And again, people will do things out of necessity. Okay. Now, and what I don't care to do is to delve into the motivations and machinations of women and why they do the things they do. I will merely just chalk it up to circumstance,
yeah, I
right?
mean,
Right.
yeah,
Like I mean, circumstances is what causes you to be faced with a decision or an option or something. And I'm just going to assume that well, whatever the decision was, you made it because you wanted it, right? Like I'm so beyond having the conversations about like what the collective. I don't give a shit. Like I don't. Do you honestly care about what every single decision every single person in the world's going to make?
well, I'll just throw it out there. I'm poly, so yeah, I concern myself about who's polygamous or not.
Oh, okay.
So
Well,
yeah, that's kind of how I roll.
okay. No, I mean,
So
well,
yeah,
to each their own. Yeah, to each their own, man. Like whatever floats your boat. I mean,
yeah,
for me, and essentially how I see it moving forward. I mean, like I said, man, you do, whatever floats your boat. What works for you, right?
yeah,
However, what I'm not looking at is that the driver for us going forward into this fourth industrial paradigm are like poly based relationships or I don't see any of that as really factoring in, right? So that's why it's kind of like okay, well that's a
now you
lifestyle
one
choice.
person. I mean,
Well, no,
you
but what
know,
I'm saying is that what that is, that's a lifestyle choice. See, there's the cultural mandate that I'm talking about adopting as black folks,
it's
right?
not a it's to and it's really scientists to prove it. It's not me saying this. It's I don't I it's strong evidence to show it's not a
Well,
lifestyle choice.
well,
It's a
no,
biological imperative that's based off of old basically forms of unionship,
well,
such as the Israelite guy in the chat.
here's the
It's
thing.
in the Bible, it's in the Quran, of course.
I'm not
It's
debating
old
whether
as dirt.
I'm not debating. I'm not debating like whether it's right, wrong, old, new, or anything. I'm not debating any of that. Like
Yeah,
I
you
said,
just like focus on other stuff.
it's a personal impetus. This is what I mean.
Right,
If it
yeah,
works for you, if it works
but
for
it's
you,
it's it's more it's more of a okay, let's keep it real, right? Let's take all of
wait, hold on.
the
What can we
fences
can
off and the gloves off and masks off. Let's
okay.
keep it real. Okay, if you was to be in a room with 20 people and males, females in this current present time, out of those 20 males or 10 males that's in the room, 10 women,
Mm-hmm.
are you telling me out of them 10 guys that they're just with that one chick and that's it? They don't have a stable or they don't have a side chick or blah blah blah. So
Wait,
yeah,
are you asking me a question?
yeah, I'm asking.
Okay. Well, the answer to that question is congratulations. You just you just achieved the in reducing this conversation to pussy. And this is what I was touching on at the very beginning of this live stream. That's why I keep
Well,
trying
I
to like. I'm
mean,
like, well, hold
the
on, dude. Wait,
question,
wait, wait,
I mean,
hold
but
on,
you're saying it's a
bro. Hold on 1 second. Wait, hold on. I host this, okay? Now hold on. Now, the whole point, the whole point in me having this live stream. Do you see the title of it?
well, yeah, I see the title of it, but okay, we can
Okay,
go
wait,
there
hold
too.
on. Okay, wait. All right. So we well, actually, I asked you that because I'm already going there. All right, I'm already about to go there. So the live stream is called "What If Manosphere 3.0 Didn't Exist?" So basically, what you did was you just showed everybody what would happen if 3.0 didn't exist. You relegated this conversation to about a hypothetical situation. If there were dudes in a room and there was these chicks around, that has nothing to do with what we're talking about. And
Okay, well, here's the deal. Here's the deal, complex. If you're okay, I don't know your current state. I mean, I know I'm aware of your history as far as your wife. You know, I'm sorry about that. But if you're just a guy, if you're just on some like nerd talk, 100%, it's no women talk, like no pussy. I have to strongly decline because I'm an alpha male.
Hold on.
I'm very pussy centric.
Well,
I
right, right,
can't even
right.
front, dude.
But I know you don't have to
I
front.
can't even front like I
You don't
could
have
be
to
a
front.
part of this conversation.
No, you're fine.
I
You don't have.
can't
You're
I
fine.
can't I
No,
gotta go
hold on.
somewhere else, bro.
You're good. You're good. You don't have to front. But what I'm saying is, aren't there enough pussy priority platforms already out there?
Well, if you're saying pussy's off the table, like I say, I have to
No.
strongly decline. I
Well
gotta
then,
be out, bro.
then here's the thing, bro. Is I'm gonna respectfully ask you go ahead and just drop off the panel because I already read the tenets and what you're bringing up has nothing to do with what we're about.
What the fuck was that about?
Well, here's what that was.
I mean, I know, I get it. I
No,
mean, the
what it
guy was
was,
just
what it was a case study in literally what this whole live stream was about. Literally what this whole live stream was about. What if what if Manosphere 3.0 didn't exist? What happens?
that's the thing. Like,
Wait, hold on. He comes up
yeah,
here, he says, I got 14 years in tech, and then turns around and talks, and then he ends it off by telling me about how he's an alpha male and a polygamist, and he can't mess with this platform because we don't talk about pussy. Oh my God.
Hey, complex. Someone's asking for the link in the chat.
Okay, it's nameless. Wait, hold on 1 second. Yeah, let me get the link for him. Oh boy, it's this is what I mean when I say that, like, certain things. Jesus Christ, it's like it's a self-fulfilling prophecy with black people. It's like you kind of you telegraph it all.
And the thing is, like me personally, I don't really have an issue talking about that kind of stuff. But the thing is, like, we gotta, like you said, advance, like move forward. Like, how long are we gonna be stuck on the
I
same
mean,
thing?
dude, I'm like, I'm like, I said, okay, dude, we got all this shit going on, right? Evictions and this and that. He acknowledges that, and he starts telling me about polygamy, and I'm like, well, oh, okay. I was thinking more about how we position ourselves to profit from this,
Yeah, get some money,
because
get some power. Like, damn.
well, hold on. If you look at who's profited the most during COVID, it's all your tech CEOs. Their values have gone through the roof.
Oh yeah,
Zuckerberg,
Amazon, most stuff.
yeah, Bezos and
Zoom.
Zuckerberg and Elon, all of them.
On Elon, you've been following the Neuralink at all?
Yeah. Well, I mean, we've been covering on the brain trust here, so
Okay.
we've been covering the Neuralink stuff. I mean, lately it's just really just been this whole stock thing, man. Which I own some of it, so that's kind of where I was like, damn, all right, there's that. So
Oh, how did
but
the stock do for Neuralink?
wait, you're talking about, wait, for Tesla?
Oh, for that. Okay, okay. I mean, yeah, I know about
No,
Tesla.
no,
Yeah,
no. The whole thing right now in the news has been Tesla stock.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and so I've got some of that, and it's just been like a wild ride. But then this whole sort of thing happened with the crash, and
Yeah.
it's everybody, like even Apple's. Like,
Can
Hey,
look
complex.
at
And
look.
then the thing is with Tesla, like a lot of its value was just like speculative, like a bunch of people like buying in because oh, it's pretty much like hype.
Mhm.
So I really don't see that as a wise investment, so to speak.
No, look. I mean, I've been holding Tesla for a little bit. And the thing was that it did a stock split last week. So
Yep.
one stock split into five, and then what happened was that Tesla stock was at about $2,000 a share, and then it split into five, so then it became $400 a share, right? So what do you typically would look for when you had one share that was at $2,000? Now you have five that are at four. Well, now you want, or yeah, that are four. You want those five to go up to $2,000, right?
Right.
So there was a buying frenzy right after the stock split. But really, what it was a pump and dump because they pumped the stocks up to about $525 and then started selling, man. And then that shit's been going on ever since. Same thing
I
happened with
would
Apple.
complex. I quickly wanted to add from the previous discussion, sort of bring it back to what we were talking about. Um, one person in the chat said in other countries they allow polygamy, but it's always about 5 to 13% of men. The elite productive men are doing it. Marriage has always cultivated women with productive men for community building, and that's where I kind of wanted to, before it got derailed, was trying to go back to as well. It's all going to come back to productivity, which is going to come back to discussions like this,
Right.
not the people who are constantly talking about polygamy on the internet because they're
Right.
not even being productive in this environment.
Exactly.
Well, one other thing, I also salute to the panel. Can you
Hey,
guys hear
what's
me
up,
okay?
Nameless? What's going on, brother? Welcome.
Family, this has been a frustrating week. And I keep remembering the conversation we just randomly happened to have that night, man. And it's full
Mhm.
circle.
Mhm.
I'll say, I guess maybe personally, I identify more as being some sort of a philosopher. So all of these topics you're bringing up matter to me because I can see how they connect in the past, how they matter in the present, and why it's important to get ready now for what's about to be on its way.
Right.
And there is a social psychologist by the name of Robert Moore who came up with this archetypical concept of masculinity that they deem king, warrior, magician, lover. And he put a lot of these forward, these ideas, which were really rooted in Jungian psychology, where he was looking at the current situation that was taking place in the 70s. And he said that he noticed that the biggest problem that a lot of issues people were facing
as we're reaching the point that we are now was the fact that they were getting the importance of these archetypes completely mixed up. And a lot of it had to do with the explosion of single mothers and whatnot. The reason why I'm bringing this up is the one thing that should be most important that he noticed was being ignored was the king archetype, which is all about having your resources down and having control of your environment in one way or another, or the ability to influence it financially.
Right.
And without that, if you don't have that as a foundation, everything else is literally out of place. And what he noticed is everybody was going straight to the lover phase. So you had individuals that were getting into relationships. They were able to demonstrate their ability to have social skills. But since there was no grounding for the king archetype, in other words, having your ability to manipulate the environment and have your finances in order and network off of that, it was like multiplying by zero. And what he was describing when he would go through his lectures is really what I heard being talked about, or rather what I see being talked about in the Black community, and manifested as almost like a cultural cultural phenomenon. Like, we need these topics, fam. We need to be talking about this. It's just our value system is completely inverted. And
That's backwards.
There's reasons for that though, but because I believe in, if you want to problem solve, the way my mind works is I want to understand how it works, or rather I want to know how I can take it apart so I know how to put it back together again, and vice versa.
Right.
And
reverse engineer the problem.
And it's back to the foundations, in ninjutsu we call this the earth element. If you don't have your foundation, your balance, I don't care how strong you are, your techniques don't mean anything. Anyone that has any grounding with physical activity, the most important thing is your balance and having stability. And those are direct metaphors for being able to influence the environment. I really am looking at this fourth industrial dynamic as a no-brainer, and no one's talking about it. And you're right, when you stop talking about it as an organized idea, people became more focused on their conditioning. And currently we don't have a cultural portfolio that highlights things like controlling our environment, because we've literally been conditioned to let other people govern that for us. We're so fiercely individual that the things we use to measure progress aren't necessarily compatible for networking, and this is where we get into the insecurities with the high value conversation. Right. So again, we need to focus on controlling the environment and looking at being able to adjust that, because so many other things fall in place when you have leverage.
And the thing.
What was the name of that philosopher?
Oh, good. I'm sorry.
Robert Moore.
Robert Moore.
Okay. Yeah. Well, he's a social psychologist, but I was just saying I do the philosophy thing, so I look into stuff like that.
Gotcha.
But yeah, it's a good book, man. Go ahead and take a look at that if you get any time. But go ahead, family.
No, I was just gonna say here. I don't know. I sometimes I'm kind of like, all right, how long do you talk about a problem before you either A, stumble upon a solution, or B, realize that you can't figure it out?
Well, when we're talking about what you guys cover here, I really think it's just a matter of communication. And when I say communication, I mean, because our values are shifted elsewhere, we're not going to be able to connect the value of what you're presenting. You understand what I'm saying? Like, somebody that's on a bus is not necessarily going to value, certain upgrades to a car. You know what I'm saying? Like, it could be extremely fuel efficient, save a ton of money, but if they're still walking, there's no use for that. They need to be working on how do you get a car in the first place. And there's no intermediary step to show people that this is in your interest to understand and learn. Irrespective of you lowering the bar of entry, we're having a conflict of value. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I
do.
do.
And I know I can see the frustration that happens with that, because this is a classic story. Even Garvey had problems telling Black folks, focus on science, focus on science. Like, this is 100-something years ago. So, this is nothing new, unfortunately. And the The only thing I see is, maybe there will be enough of a critical mass when the environment begins to pressure people into knowing these things, which is generally how it goes.
Well, it's
And the
funny
thing
though.
with that is, oh, sorry.
I was just gonna say that the thing about this, the ironic thing about that, Nameless, is that you brought up how Garvey had these same challenges, shit, I mean, what, 100 years ago and shit, right?
Mhm.
Okay, and yet 100 years from then, we know this today, yet we still have the same problems.
Because it's the same common denominator. Our values never changed.
And the biggest issue is like by the time that critical mass comes to fruition, it's already going to be too late. Like the best time to get these opportunities is as early as possible. Like for example, with crypto, for example, right? A lot of people, the average dude doesn't really understand, doesn't really fuck with it. And you know, 5, 6 years down the line, when the average dude kind of hears about it, like it's filtered through, like we have, crypto ATMs, crypto banks, like actual brick and mortar. I mean, if that's gonna happen, but when that happens, it's already gonna be too late. Like the gains were to be made early on, you know. So
So,
I mean,
yeah,
uh-huh.
I'd add too, kind of with, especially with the advent of the internet. I mean, I'm well aware that there is still a digital gap as far as people having access to it, but that is really the thing that sort of is the real equalizer in the sense of having access to all the knowledge, and it's kind of going to expose people who are really serious about it and people about change and moving forward, and people who aren't. Because I mean, you could get away with, previously saying, hey, I don't have any knowledge of this information out there. I have no way to come in contact. That's increasingly, changing, where that's not going to be a viable excuse. I mean, it used to be, prior to the internet, you really had to be someone who pretty much lived in the library, that if, you were in a bad situation and you were coming up through academics or advancing yourself through a career, the library was your big resource back then. Now it's, wherever you have internet connection. So it's just, it's given people a tremendous opportunity, but it's also going to cut down on the number of sort of excuses you could, I don't want to say like excuses in a bad way, but just sort of the reasons for not knowing and coming in contact with this information is going to be less and less. There's just going to be fewer and fewer of them.
Yeah, I don't think
the thing
the
is,
issue.
the guys. Oh, sorry.
I don't think the issue is accessibility. I think the issue does boil back down to value system. And at the end of the day, I don't run your channel, but I'm just curious, how many non-Black people do you seem to get private messages from that want to learn more about what you guys talk about on a regular basis, Complex?
I mean, a few. We have a couple of quote unquote non-Black. Well, I won't say quote unquote, but non-Black Brain Trust members, Asian. But I would say that so there was some people that Mike was dialoguing with. I know that they had contacted him directly. They're from Europe, and really, it just had more to do with them learning a different political perspective, right? Like coming on, like encountering our channel and then listening to us talk about politics, right?
Okay.
Because like overseas, they'll see like some George Floyd shit, but they don't really know how to contextualize it.
Got you.
Right. But then they hear us talk about it and they're like, yo. And it's just like, yeah, that's how it is.
So they appreciate the nuanced view.
Exactly.
Okay.
They appreciate, because they're not American, they're European. Right. So it's a whole different thing for them. Much like how when we deep dive into a lot of like European politics. Right. And if somebody who spent time over there explains it to me, it's different because I've never been there. I really identify. So when somebody starts giving me all the nuances and shit, in a place where I've never been, but they can tell me all these little minute details how this group, why these two groups people don't get along, even though they're the same group people and all this and all that. It's like, oh shit, okay, damn, I didn't know that.
Right. Well, I only brought that up just because, I just noticed that, even BGS runs into this problem a lot of times. It's more like other groups of people seem to be more interested in these topics than we do. And I really do chalk it up to value system, and a lot of people just not learning how to correlate how this is in their interest to do something about, or at least listen to, so they can get some sort of informed opinion about it all. And we suffer the lowest of the low, and so we're going to be the ones hit first when a lot of government jobs get pulled, government programs get pulled, and there's no fallback on wealth. What do you do? And this is what I've been looking at for a very long time, and it bothers me a lot because this is self-inflicted wounds at this point.
Yeah, I mean, and that's where I'm kind of where I'm kind of at a loss, right? That's where I'm kind of at a loss because it is very much it is very much self-inflicted at this point, to a large extent. Like now, I'm not gonna go the hood conservative route.
Right. It's not a bootstrap argument.
Yeah, it's not that, right? It's not that, but there are like literal things that are just like simple, like I guess you can say like lifestyle changes or like life choice decisions that can be made that could directly alter, where we're headed.
So let me share, I guess maybe my I guess Disney vision of the Manosphere, right? Like,
then I want to say something.
I see groups like you guys as like a portion of what would be like if we looked at this like the federal government. Every sphere in the federal government has a particular specialization, and that's what they do, but they're all loosely connected as an aggregate, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I don't see why we couldn't do that. I don't see why, and this was just my assuming. I thought that was how the brain trust was operating. It was just like, okay, that's the tech sector. So if there's anything you need to know about tech, you need to go holler at them. And then we see a lot of you guys on different panels and different channels, and you could offer that technocratic perspective on the topic that may be at hand. Now, that's not to say that obviously now we know what the topics are revolving around lately, but I'm using this vacuum for the sake of the conversation. There are different people that do specialize in different things of interest. That's how I believe the Manosphere operated. And with that said, it's why, again, I look at it as a communication issue. I don't think, in spite of the quality of the product you're producing, maybe it's marketing. And you can't make people go to the water and drink it. You can bring them to the river. It don't necessarily mean they'll drink it. But and I'm not saying this is necessarily your responsibility. I just see this as potential, because I know how excited I got when I learned about a lot of the things you were talking about, but I had no clue you guys were even talking about things like that.
Well, I'll say this, man, and then I'll pass it to Chaos, because I'm coming up on about 2 hours here, and I'm gonna go ahead and shut it down because I have one scheduled on my own channel I got to do, and we're doing it like 10:30 though. Man, I would say that the one thing that's kind of been frustrating for me is sort of like us being relegated to like tech guys, right? Like the whole tech guys thing is like I said, it really just has more to do probably anything with just the fact that a lot of us work in it, right? But
I got you.
But like we deep dive on the geopolitics, the domestic politics, the economics, shit, everything. I mean, we fire up like the car live streams, man. I think we're scheduling one for Saturday. I think so. Like the car, the car and motorsport live streams. Man, we've done live streams on like watches and shit. It's like that. My problem is that, again, and this is just reflective. This is reflective of a cultural narrative. We're quick to we create these boxes, these social memes, right? Educated lame, high value man, Pookie, Ray Ray, Octane, this, and then you put it in the box. Even though the shit don't fit in the fucking box, everybody around here puts shit in boxes that don't fit in the fucking boxes. right? And that's like it. That's my issue is just like, damn, dude, like, number one, what's important to you? Like, seriously, what's important to you? Because what you consume is what is important to you. What you consume on a daily basis, on average, that is what is important to you. The stuff that you feel most compelled to shove through your ears into your head, or through your eyes and then into your head, that is what is important to you. Okay? So it's kind of like it does speak for itself. It speaks
And
for
that's
itself.
the issue.
There's no marketing, right? And I have my own life. Why do I have to market?
Well, I wasn't saying you needed to, and that's why I was trying to articulate it clear to not insinuate that it was something you guys weren't doing. If I could just paraphrase or re-articulate, what I'm trying to say is it is the value system issue, and people don't understand how the information you provide is valuable to their life, and their participation seems to reflect that. And communication is the only solution I can come up with. I know I'm going to be talking about you guys more. I'm going to be considering the topics you guys talk about more and find ways to introduce it to other parts of the sphere I go to. I'm personally interested in a lot of these things. Again, VGS throws a lot of these things out there, and then we've got the baseline conversation of how do you address your finances. I mean, a lot of us at the end of the day, this is what we're concerned about. It's just, again, if you don't have the proper interface to actually make use of the information, you're not going to find it as valuable. It may go over people's heads, not because they can't grasp it, but because they can't identify the relevance. And that's not your responsibility. But
I don't. I was going to quickly add. I don't even know if it's they can't identify the relevance in the sense, because it goes across the board with any of these platforms. If you bring up anything that's outside of gender politics, your views are going to go way down. Whether it be guys talking about things as basic as, hey, real estate investment, how to buy your first home, how to invest and grow your money. Very basic things that people can just translate to, okay, more money in my pocket. It doesn't get the viewership, so it ties a lot.
It's not supposed to get the viewership. It's not supposed to get viewership because our people at the end of the day are not a position where they're scarce entirely.
Wait, they're not in a position where they're. Say that again.
Well, what I mean is, unless they're homeless, like really homeless, they're going to have to find some way to get some money. But as they're comfortable and they're making some little money, they don't see the need to do even better. Only time when that comes to play is when they either don't have a job or something happens. Yeah, you get me? That's how our people work. They only operate through tragedy.
And that's another thing. Like you see on like a lot of these shows, like Power, a lot of like the whole paradigm of like black love is basically defined as how much shit you go through, like how like just how much drama goes on, how much conflict goes on, just like a soap opera pretty much. And like people actually base their lives and base their decision making like off of that. Fucked up. So the main thing is, like, all of these concepts are important, but the thing is, this is only gonna matter to a small percentage of like the black manosphere for a while. Like, it's not gonna be until like a couple of years down the line when people are pretty much either left behind or just really, really struggling. Like, okay, the average dude is gonna be like, okay, well, maybe I should look into this. And even then, that's gonna be like maybe, I don't know, like 30%. Like a lot of these dudes, just like the dude that was already on the panel, are just stuck on hoes pretty much. And that's just what it is.
Stuck on trying to get pussy.
But
right, so
Complex didn't even speak against that though. That was what was frustrating. Like, he wasn't saying don't, it's do your life, but it's like value system. This is frustrating me, man. No fault to anybody on the panel. It's just hard to talk about.
No, I'm saying you saw it. You saw it. Because I was like, bro, like, Jesus Christ, dude, like, oh my God, it's just what I don't want to say I don't get, right?
Mhm.
Because I what I get is that there's a different impetus that drives you. That is what I do get. So I'm not going to question said impetus, right? I'm not going to question it. It's just that what you can't do is then come here into a conversation, right?
Mhm.
And then sort of like impose it as it being sort of like a critical component to the conversation when we've largely relegated it as basically like non-important.
And the thing is, even in their like little space where they talk about that kind of thing, like they've already had, I guess, women like come on and sort of just pretty much bring it down to like a shouting match. So like even in their own space, they're not even controlling that, as the actual as like any sort of like standard for progress or anything, like
Well, yeah,
telling men
bro,
to,
but
you know what I mean? Uh,
yeah, I was gonna say, but bro, I mean, it's like, look, sometimes you have to consider who you're talking to. Okay, I may not sound like it. I'm 43 years old. I was married. I'm a widowed single man. Okay, so it's kind of like, what the hell is this? What it at a certain dude? What what is it that some dude is telling me something new about women or something? Here's the thing, right? I could actually tell them something. They haven't been through the shit I've been through. Been there, done it with what they're talking about. Hollering at the chick and getting her and whatever. Have you seen the other side of the equation? After you do the marriage thing and you do the successful thing with the children and the home and the this and then that, and then that death do us part comes. That's the part because you never hear about that part. You always hear about marriage. You never hear about the death part, right? Because see, somebody's gonna die at some point.
I mean, the way I see it, like this pretty much has to be like an insular community, and like whoever comes in comes in. Like they're going to be actually looking for this information and coming in to add value, as opposed to the other guy who's pretty much just like on some, oh, let's pussy pussy, you know. So
Well,
like
wait,
we pretty
hold on a
much,
second. Wait, hold on. I'm not sure this Christopher Catchings dude is like. You have poor self-image. I grew up in a black neighborhood with two-parent house next to a judge and a dentist. Plenty of us have great.
All right, guys. I'll talk to you later.
yeah,
Okay,
All
all
right,
right, Chaos.
chaos,
Take
peace.
it easy, brother.
bro.
Okay.
Um, yeah, Chris, I'm not. Maybe you kind of came in at a certain part of the conversation. I'm not really sure. Yeah, or maybe you're
I
talking to
mean, I
somebody else.
mean, his. I mean, I think. Well, I mean, just from reading his comment, I mean, just this kind of common sense says that, hey, that's not his experience. Is not the rank and file experience. It's something that would be great if it was. I think we'd see a lot better outcomes in the community. But the fact of the matter is, his experience is very much one of a upper class, upper middle class black person, which is the
Oh, okay.
minority in the community.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
I
an
mean,
absolute minority. That's like,
well, I mean, yeah, yeah,
especially nowadays.
And then he's
yeah.
describing again fourth industrial movements are pretty much just going to stratify everything, man. And that's the problem. The stratification is going to be so real. And they've been talking about this for a while, a very long while. And COVID is just it's like a rush to the bottom for some people, and just through association. I don't see how you don't get UBI. I don't. I'm frustrated that no one's talking about again the UBI situation and how that's another projects trap waiting to happen.
Yeah.
And we're literally the ones poised to run smack into that freaking wall.
Yep.
And no one's talking about aggregating resources, looking at the rules and conditions behind it, how folks that are paying child support are going to get screwed out of that. The droves of potential unhomeless dudes, because I get frustrated, fam. I do, and I see. I hate to
No.
see such good content you guys share with regards to that, because you filled a critical niche that nobody sees the value in. It's like Tesla,
No, I feel
And
it,
I'm not trying
man.
to conflate too much, but it's just we really need to be talking about this. This is closer to home than we know. And the average American is really suffering from the same thing. It's just that again, when America catches cold, we get flu. And
Exactly. And that's why it's amazing to me that, when I, because I'm not all of my YouTube shit, I'm not subscribed to a bunch of like people Black Manosphere like that. My stuff is all over the place in terms of my feeds. So I get like, there's dudes that are like tax professionals and stuff, and what they've been doing is they've been combing through, the bills in Congress as it relates to all these bills that are trying to pass back and forth on stimulus, and then giving you their breakdown of them and stuff. You know, that's like I get that kind of information. I try to put that in my head on a daily basis to know what the hell is going on. So I know from day to day what it is that Congress may or may not be thinking. Because otherwise, everybody, who's just kind of like lost in the sauce, just walking around, just like, when are they gonna give us another stimulus? It's like, man, well, pay attention to know what's going on, you know, and even then, just even have more information and being more informed. You might even be motivated to make other types of moves. Where you may find yourself like throwing a little money here, throwing a little money there, to see returns or gains on it. Now, again, with this whole crash over the last few days, I'm not suggesting anybody do anything right about now, but
Right.
but I'm just saying, these things. I just again, man, we fired this up to kind of just sort of compare and contrast the conversations that I have between here and elsewhere, and we hadn't even gone live probably about 3 weeks or a month, and then first thing, dude comes up here, I'm alpha, I'm poly, I'm this, I'm that. I'm like, oh, bro, god damn it, you could have gone anywhere and said that. Like,
And that's the
literally.
thing, like in this space, we pretty much gotta like develop our concepts, just do our thing and just not really worry about like the average dude, coming in and adding value. I mean, because it's pretty much going to be a situation like we just had, like for the most part. So I mean, that's just what it is.
Yeah. Well, look, we're up on 2 hours here, man. I know I have a live stream I have to do on my channel like in 45 minutes or an hour. You guys, your brothers want to give your closing thoughts?
I'll go ahead and start, man. Again, you guys are very important. What you guys do is very useful. It's unfortunate a lot of people haven't aligned their values to recognize that, but a lot of people do appreciate what you all have presented and what you stand for. And one way or another, this information is needed. Even if we have to do it on an individual basis and not necessarily, in the sphere, it needs to be talked about. It needs to be done one way or another, because I don't think much of us have a choice, really.
Mm-hmm.
But thanks for having me up, and salute to the panel and salute to the chat.
Oh, thanks
Absolutely,
again,
man.
brother. Appreciate you, brother.
All right,
Jay?
peace.
Yep, I'll go ahead.
Oh, Ren,
You know,
Ren, you got it.
yep. No, just as always enjoy cutting it up, chopping it up with everyone in the Brain Trust, as well as everyone in the chat. Kind of like the last brother just reiterated. I do believe this platform provides a very, very, very valuable content and niche to this space of YouTube that is underappreciated, but like I said, very much necessary, and glad to see the Brain Trust back live.
All right, man, and I appreciate you, Renaissance man. Thank you so much for coming through.
Hey, absolutely.
All right, Jay, any
Peace.
last words, bro?
Yeah, so I mean, this is pretty much my first time coming on. Great conversation. Just that one guy was just kind of crazy, but my
Yeah.
whole thing is we just got to focus on our thing. Keep on putting out the information, keep on like learning new concepts, and just keep on rolling on. And whoever comes in who wants to add value to the conversation, we let them in. And whoever doesn't, like old homeboy over there, they can go. So that's my thought for right now.
Hey, man, I appreciate you for coming on through, man. Like I said, this was kind of like us just sort of coming back out and saying, all right, hey, we're back. So it may be a day or two. I got to sort the Zoom issue out, and I got to start getting the dockets together for the upcoming shows and stuff. So it might be like a day or two. I might do another open chat maybe tomorrow or something, but it'll be a day or two, and then we'll get back on the ball with like our normally scheduled live streams.
Absolutely, brother. Looking forward to it.
All right. Oh, hey, Nicole, you just came through right at the end. What do I contribute? Yeah, when we go live, just join the panel, Nicole. Hold on one second. All right, so yeah, we're gonna go ahead and shut it down. Once again, you guys, if you haven't, just subscribe and hit the notification bell so you get all the notifications. We'll also be posting on the community tab, getting back to posting there regularly. So hit the notification bell so that you get all of the community tab posts and updates. And with that, you guys have a good night. Peace.
All right, you too. Peace.